Hello, and in this video, we'll talk about the various features of the LinkedIn group. It's important that you understand these different features. With these different features, you will be able to manage your groups in the right way. So we'll cover the manage menu, LinkedIn group rules. We'll look at the group settings. We'll look at the new standard and unlisted. We'll look at the moderation queue and request to join. Now, when it comes to the groups menu and the layout, I only want to cover what's important. That's what I'm going over. I don't want to go in these things where you're not going to use stuff, but it's important that I go through these features. So there are many other features that are not that relevant, so I'm not going to go through that. I don't want you to be bogged down on features that you'll hardly use and lose focus on what you're trying to achieve. Let's take a look at the different LinkedIn group menus and layout. The most important menu when managing a LinkedIn group is the manage menu. The manage menu is where you'll go and make sure your LinkedIn group is running in the right way. The manage tab contains all the management settings. Only group owners, managers, and moderators will have access to this tab and made available to them. On the left hand side, you can see a whole long list of management options for the group. We'll need to get familiar with some of these options. I know it looks daunting at first, but I believe LinkedIn has made it really easy to manage these groups today. As a group owner and a top LinkedIn contributor, I'll suggest to you to get yourself familiar with some of these features so that you can get really efficient in managing your group. So let's get started, okay? Let's take a look at the career-minded woman group that I have. Now, the first thing you've got to look at is click on the cog and then click on the manage. Then you can see that the post is waiting for me. There's an example of a post waiting for me to approve there. You can now move this into jobs or delete if you think it's a spam. Let's look at LinkedIn group rules, why they're important. Before setting up a LinkedIn group, it's important to set out the rules you want your members of the groups to follow. Now, when they see the rules, the members immediately know that this is a professional group. So they can see that this group is managed and monitored regularly and it's a serious group. Members are aware that most groups are not managed in the right way. So when they come across a group with rules, they're really quite happy. Remember, we want to attract the real professionals to our group, no spam. In the members areas, there are some things to consider when creating rules. Okay, so let's talk about the group settings. This is what decides whether you'll need to moderate the submissions. Most of the time we want to encourage free flow of conversations in our group. I want you to monitor and pay close attention to the type of discussions being posted in your groups. Okay, so go to the group settings, scroll down. Now you have the choice of changing your group type. You have two types, the standard and unlisted. All the LinkedIn groups now have standard and unlisted, and they're both private. This means that the conversations shared in a group are no longer public. It used to be public, but they're no longer public. The standard groups have similar functionality and purpose to the previous version of the groups in terms of posting and sharing information with fellow members. Group content is hidden unless you're a member of the group. Now, one change you'll notice is the highlights page, which lists the most engaging posts in your group. Go to interest and groups to get to the group homepage. As you can see, today's highlights, and then it actually says your most active groups. What you can do, you can invite people to join, and any user can request to become a member of that group as well. To save time, ask a friend who's already a member to add you. You're able to use standard groups for marketing, but you have to be quite smart about it. You really want to engage more and share better content to meet fellow group members. These relationships could translate into new business down the line. So let's talk about the unlisted group. You can't find unlisted groups through a LinkedIn search. Only a group admin can invite new members with an unlisted group. Even when doing a Google search, you won't be able to find unlisted groups. The unlisted category is ideal for internal groups within a company. Your content will be completely private since there's no chance for outsiders to gain access. There are plenty of reasons to start on an unlisted group. For example, you can create user groups to beta test new products and concepts. User groups as a customer service support for your clients. No need now for paying for monthly expensive ticket software to start internal groups for your employees. Remember that unlisted groups are strictly for content, not marketing, so they're valuable for communication with designated people. Standard groups show up in search. Technically, you can find them when you do a Google search, as well as in the groups directory. The best way to search for a group is on LinkedIn. Okay, search for standard groups by keyword from LinkedIn's main or advanced search. LinkedIn will also make group suggestions based on your interests. Okay, if you find a group you want to join, look for a group button and ask to join it. So let's talk about request to join. As you can see, anyone that tries to join this group has to be approved first. You have a choice of approve, decline, and block. You can add a note and also send a private message. So what is the moderation queue? Discussions appear in the moderation queue because the group has been configured in a way that anyone that makes a post in this group will be moderated. When a new member starts a conversation, if an existing member posts a conversation in this group, that discussion will first appear in the moderation queue, and that's because it's been configured that way. The group owner wants to validate or check each and every discussion before it's presented to everyone else. Here's an example of a discussion that needs to be moderated. At this stage, the discussions can either be approved, which means everyone in the group will be able to see it and participate in it, or it can be moved to jobs, or it can be deleted. Being in the moderation queue means that none of your discussions or comments become public until a member of a group management reviews and approves them. Now, there might be instances where you want to have restrictions on the group. Then you would set up for the request to join. Okay, if you have a restricted group, people will have to request to join the group. Okay, they'll appear in a list with the date they requested membership, their name, their level of connection, and you can either approve, decline, or block them. You can send a message and add a note. So that's the request to join message. We'll continue this talking about the different features of the groups in the next video.